Okay, here is part 2 of People of Worship and Days of the Miraculous. And I was about to read Psalm 27 from verse 1. It says, "The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid?" This language is the language of people who worship God, who know that He's worthy to be worshipped. He's worthy because He's able to do this. He's the strength of your life. Though an army may encamp against me, my heart shall not fear. Though war may rise against me, in this I will be confident. One thing I have desired of the Lord, that will I seek, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life. What are you going to do dwelling in the house of the Lord, in the presence of God? You're going to worship Him. To behold the beauty of the Lord and to inquire in His temple. For in the time of trouble He shall hide me in His pavilion. In the secret place of His tabernacle He shall hide me. He shall set me high upon a rock. These are promises that you and I can stand on today. And now my head shall be lifted up above my enemies all around me. Therefore I will offer sacrifices of joy in His tabernacle. I will sing, yes, I will sing praises to the Lord. Hear, O Lord, when I cry with my voice, have mercy upon me. And then He says, when you said, seek my face, my heart said to you, your face, Lord, I will seek. God is looking for people who seek His face, in not out of a religious formula, but out of a relationship, who seek His face. When we seek His face, we are seeking out how He would do something. What is He looking at? We want to see how He sees something. We want to discern correctly. We want to understand His heart. That's what happens when we seek the face of God. Teach me your way, O Lord. Do not deliver me to the will of my adversaries. And then it says in verse 13, I would have lost heart unless I had believed that I would see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Wait on the Lord, be of good courage, and He shall strengthen your heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord. So one of the things that God is doing in the season is the eyes of the bride are returning to the bridegroom. The people who are focused on Jesus are going to hear and see what God sees. This is what a prophetic army does. I said in the live session, God is the things being dismantled. Our plans, our abilities, our capabilities, our good ideas, but there's a mantle that God is putting on us, replacing those things that are being dismantled. And that is the mantle of a prophetic army who see what God sees and who say what God says. And in Psalm 24, verse 6 says, "This is Jacob, the generation of those who seek Him, who seek your face. Lift up your heads, O you gates, and be lifted up, you everlasting doors, and the King of glory shall come in." Who is this King of glory? The Lord strong and mighty, the Lord mighty in battle. Lift up your heads, O you gates, lift up, you everlasting doors, and the King of glory shall come in. Who is this King of glory? The Lord of hosts. He is the King of glory. This is why we worship Him, and this is why He is the Lord strong and mighty, the Lord mighty in battle. And we are in the army of God, and God leading us, and He is mighty in battle. The gates of hell will not prevail against a church who is a worshiping church, against a church who has picked up that mantle to be a prophetic army. There's a promise in the scriptures that the gates of hell will not prevail, not overwhelm, not overtake the kingdom. He says here, the church. Matthew 16:18 and 19. I also say to you that you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. That's Matthew 16:18. And here's another little, I want to give you this. You may be feeling helpless at this time when you can't make your own way out of what you're facing. You may be feeling helpless and hopeless, and I want to give you some hope here. When you've done everything you know to do, there's one question God's going to say to you: what's in your hand? Just like the fishermen had their own familiar way of catching fish, making a living, doing the thing, and then Jesus came along and He says, launch out into the deep. It was something familiar to them. Here's Moses in Exodus chapter 4. God has instructed Moses to lead the people, to go and bring a word and say, I will do this for you. I'm going to rescue you. I'm going to help you. I'll redeem you. All of the great things that God God promised the Israelites, but Moses had to go and deliver this word. And then Moses says to God in Exodus 4 verse 2, then Moses answered and said, but suppose they will not believe me or listen to my voice. Suppose they say, the Lord has not appeared to you. God doesn't say, Moses, it's okay, I understand how you feel. God doesn't even answer that question. It says in Exodus 4, so the Lord said to him, what is that in your hand? So Moses says, it's a rod. And then God says to him, cast it on the ground. He cast it on the ground. It became a serpent, and Moses fled from it. Now, I got a little picture out of this that there's a whole thing. Go read Exodus chapter 4, how it becomes a serpent. He picks it up, and then it becomes a rod again. And it was all symbolic of something that Moses had in his hand that could be used as a weapon in this time. Or it was symbolic of influence that God was with Moses. And so God is saying to you, what is in your hand? What is it that you can do to cooperate with what God is doing? And the one thing we have is worship. We're designed to worship God. We are created to worship God. God created us. God made us so that we would be in fellowship with Him and worshiping Him. And once again, I want to say worship is not singing some slow songs. It's not going onto your Apple Music, or whatever app you have, and downloading the latest worship songs, and that's all great. That's all part of it. That is the fruit of living a lifestyle of worship, is that we worship Him in song and however else you worship God. But worship is seeking the face of God, not out of a religious formula, but out of a desire to get to know Him more and to be obedient to Him, so that we can say, yes, God, I understand that you're leading me in this time. So the more, when God says to you, what's in your hand, you're going to say, God, I have worship. I don't have any plans. I don't have a lot of money. I haven't been to Bible school, so I can't preach very well, but I can worship you. And I'm waiting for your instruction as I worship you, as I lay down all my plans that I had for 2021. You know, I had to cancel the ladies' weekend that should be happening on the 22nd of January. It was a bit of a disappointment, but there was nothing I could do about it. So what I did was I gave it to God. I said, God, whatever you want to do, if it happens in June, because we already have June dates booked and there are already people who registered for June. If it happens in June, we'll do it in June. But I can't sit and hold on to this thing and make it happen. I've got to release it to you. But there was a little bit of a disappointment, and I had to take that to God. Now, you have some things that you might feel you've been disappointed about in this time, because you couldn't travel somewhere, you couldn't go and visit your kids if you wanted to visit your kids. There were a lot of things that people were disappointed in. But the one thing that we cannot be disappointed in is how God wants a relationship with you and I. And that's more important. So we focus our eyes on the bridegroom. We are the bride. And He's saying, I'm going to read you that word that I posted yesterday before I end this. So I had to settle the issue, and then I decided I'm going back to basics. I don't have to impress anybody by doing more meetings, and I don't have to prove anything to anybody. So it's just myself and God. And it's such a liberating place to find yourself when you say, God, here I am. You speak to me, I'm going to obey. So if you're feeling disappointed in the season, get back into that place where God says, I'll hide you in the pavilion, in His pavilion, under the shadow of His wing, where He'll hide you and He'll speak to you and comfort you, because God understands what you went through and what you go through. So let me just find this word. So when God says, what's in your hand? Not out of a religious performance or to impress Him, but just say, God, I have worship. And the more you know about Him, the easier it is to worship Him. So just let me get this word, and then I will read it to you. And I want to thank you for joining in on the live session today. Where I really don't understand what is happening there. Okay, here's the word. I have to find it. Sorry, okay. I'll read it to you as I got it. Living in days of the miraculous. Launch out into the deep, says God, the place of trust where only I can do what needs to be done, As you worship me, you choose to place my word as the highest priority and my instruction as your only path to follow. I'm releasing help from heaven. You've done everything that was familiar and secure before, but now you find yourself unsure and helpless. I'm asking you to launch out into the wide open space of faith. The ways and the works of man alone won't help in this season. The supernatural of the Spirit is the power you need. That's exciting. We're living in exciting days. The battle is mine, but I need you to work alongside me by laying down your own efforts and ideas that worked before. It's freeing and effortless as you let me lead. You've spoken about revival and harvest, but now you need to understand that the only way this comes is by my Spirit and not by the hand of man. Bride, keep your eyes focused intently on the bridegroom. Don't be troubled by the confusion around you. You need to be a worshiping warrior in this time. As the solutions that worked before are being dismantled around you, realize that the mantle I have placed upon you is that of a prophetic army who will see what I see and say what I say. That's you. You will be astonished at the works I'm about to do, just like those fishermen were astonished at the great catch that they did. It was something supernatural for them. You'll be astonished at the works I'm about to do. Get ready to launch out into the deep for a great catch of signs and wonders and supernatural breakthrough. Take this for yourself. It will be the most natural thing for you to follow my lead and to leave your familiar ways of working in past seasons behind when you see what I am able to do. That's where you have always been called to be, close to my heartbeat and holding my hand. So I'm going to leave you with that, and I'm going to post this up now just to add to the live session. If you missed the live session and you're only watching this video, then watch the live session on the Kathy Mole Ministries page. But thanks so much for joining in today, and I will see you soon again.